Do you remember Hello Neighbor?
Yeah?
It's bad.
No!
Hello Neighbor was incredibly popular while it was still in active development. Between the years 2015 and 2017, the game exploded in popularity on the internet, on platforms such as YouTube and Twitch. One of the major selling points behind this game was the advanced AI that supposedly learned from your actions, movements, etc. to keep the game lively and engaging. From the early footage you could find from the developers and Let's Players making YouTube videos on the game at the time, you could definitely see that the AI was pretty advanced and lifelike, and with the popularity of the game growing and growing with each alpha release, how come the game seemed to have disappeared from the public eye?
I completely forgot about this game ever coming out. I mean, the game was so popular before its final release, so many people were excited to see what the final product was going to be. But then, nothing. I don't remember anything more than that.
So, imagine my surprise when I looked up the game and found out that there were 5 games released. Did these fly under the radar for anyone else? Because I was so confused to learn that this little game could spawn this many games so quickly. You have Hello Neighbor Hide and Seek, which is a prequel, Secret Neighbor, which looks like some Dead by Daylight clone, Hello Neighbor 2, which is still currently in development, and Hello Engineer? An open world construction game only available on the Stadia?
I'm an engineer.
This was a massive surprise for me. I thought the game had disappeared, let alone turned into a game series, a book series, and an animated TV series. And with the franchise growing this big, you would assume that the original game would be a banger, right? Oh. Oh no.
Salutations everyone, my name is Allan Aldroid, and strap in ladies and gentle gamers for an experience like no other. A bad one. This is Hello Neighbor.
Hello, your neighbor. Goodbye, I'll see you later. This place was not for you to look and see to get from me.
So, after paying a wonderful entrance fee of £23, the game starts off with one of the most horrifying things to ever come out of a horror game. A beach ball. Here we get to meet our protagonist of the game and AH! What is that? Is that supposed to be a child? Huh? Yes, in this game we play as a 30-year-old man in a child's body, and after I experience one of the most jarring cuts from cutscene to gameplay ever, we hear a woman scream from inside the neighbor's house. As the man-child goes to investigate, we see the neighbor locking the door to the basement mysteriously. Ooh, spooky. Oh, and before you ask, yes, the neighbor has a name. He's called Mr. Peterson, but with a name like that, I'd be more scared of a baked bean named Barnable than a man named Mr. Flipping Peterson, so I'll stick to calling him the neighbor. Mr. Neighbor spots us creeping around the window leading to the game's first chase sequence. It's not very good.
I gotta say though, this is a pretty decent way of introducing us to the game without throwing a bunch of overwhelming story bits at the player. You have the neighbor locking someone away, the neighbor showing us that he really doesn't want it to be opened, where to find the next objective. Overall, it's a pretty good way of introducing us to this game. Shame the rest of it is bloody awful.
And from this point forward, we finally get to play the game, starting off with the most logical place, Act 1.
Hello Neighbor is split up into 3 acts, with a finale act thrown in at the end, and, as you'll see later on, the quality of the game declines more and more with each passing act. And you'll see what I mean when we get to it.
The premise of the game so far is to find a way to sneak past the neighbor to grab the key and break into the basement, with the neighbor supposedly adapting to your movements so you have to actually think, you baby. The neighbor is designed to leave traps and put cameras around your most visited places in order to force you to come up with a new strategy as well as to try and not get caught. Act 1's house looks just like a regular house, and is a lot smaller compared to the behemoth of a house we get to explore, so it should seem like a pretty simple and fun time, getting used to controls, mechanics, etc, as we try to stealthily move around the neighbor and try and steal the key. Pretty simple stuff, right?
Right?
Let's go over what I did to get to the key, shall we? First of all, I decided to take a leisurely stroll around the house to see if I can get my bearings. However, Mr. Neighborson had some other ideas as he spotted me and decided to break through his own flipping window. Okay, it's my favourite part of the AI. Ready? He jumps through a window despite the fact his door's wide open. This one clip can explain everything wrong with this game instantly, and that's not even exaggerated. Don't believe me? Oh, trust me, you will. Let's go through a step-by-step breakdown of this clip. 1. The neighbor was right next to his open front door and my guy decided to jump through a window. Okay. 2. Where did his animations go? This looks like a beta build of the game you'd get for like £5, not £23. Honestly, it looks ridiculous. The neighbor runs from point to point in a straight line. There's no animations for things like throwing objects or using switches. It feels so unfinished. Super Mario 64 actually had the Goombas walking in curves back in 1996. How can you screw up movement this badly? 3. After I run out of range, he just sort of stands there and tuts at me. 4. When the neighbor decides to go into the house, what do you think this advanced AI does? Does it go through the front door like a normal human person?
Do you think I'd be asking this question if he did?
He jumps through the bloody window again! Okay, maybe I'm being a bit too harsh on the game, but can you blame me? I've barely been playing for 10 minutes and this already screamed lack of quality to me. But I'm a man of reason. I like to give things a fair shot, so let's see what the rest of the game has in store for us. After dicking around for about another 10 minutes with the neighbor's AI... Oh no, is he gonna do it? I decided to play the game normally because, you know, this is a review of Hello Neighbor after all. I continued to survey the house before... yeah, I got caught and oh boy, this is definitely one of the scares of all time. No jump scare animation or anything, just piano keys and the game freezes. After being caught, I was propelled to a random story segment. Lore hints being given to the player after being caught? Where have I seen that before? I'm currently like 15 minutes into my playthrough of Hello Neighbor and barely anything in this game has enticed me at all. So I didn't care about what the overarching story is in this game. But I'll try to figure out what was going on for the 7 people who care. In the story piece we see the neighbor get into the car, then we see the neighbor crash the car, and that's it. No joke, that is it. I must say, this must be some type of crack cocaine to the 11-year-olds playing this game, because this flew straight over my head. I couldn't take this seriously at all. It's so abrupt, I couldn't stop laughing. Casting that aside, however, I got out of the lore zone and jumped back into the main game. After exploring the house for a bit and giving the neighbor some good old-fashioned head trauma, I circled back to the front of the house, where there was some conveniently placed shelves leaning on the side of the house. So I thought, maybe I could climb them. So, after a few failed attempts, I managed to get to the roof.
Yeah, that took a lot of attempts to get up to the roof. The parkour's a bit funky in this game, but I'm sure there won't be too much of an issue. It's not like it's a massive part of the game. Right?
I decided to arm myself with a few bits of junk to help me break through the roof and oh my god! Okay, I have to bring this up now, and there is no good way of explaining it. It's definitely something you'd understand more if you played Hello Neighbor, but the neighbor's advanced AI just does not work at all. If we watch the AI rundown video, you can see how the neighbor is supposed to react to his environment, and it looks really cool here. It's not perfect, obviously, but the AI feels more like a real person, much like the Xenomorph from Alien Isolation. You could see how he was definitely programmed to be more like a person, where he would relax in front of the TV, stretch, set traps, board up windows. This is so cool! But if you compare that to the actual game, he just wanders about, stretches for ages, and gets stuck in his own flipping fences.
The neighbor is a joke. He isn't even a villain, he isn't even scary at all. The guy looks like my old geography teacher, not someone who made me shit my pants.
And the neighbor is so sensitive to anything you do. You'll just be wandering around outside and he'll tumble through his house trying to get you. And every time he's in hunt mode, you get this irritating dun 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 music cue. And the rundown video is so terrifying. This music would make you panic as you try to run away, which is what you want. I want to panic and to feel scared. This is a horror game after all. So let's just get this flipping key and get this over with. Ow! There, I'm in. That wasn't painful whatsoever. I managed to collect the keys to the car, which gave me some sort of magnet. Puzzle time! This one's pretty simple. You walk to the back of the house, jump to a box to get to the same vent, and use the magnet to grab this thing. Apparently this is a lockpick. I did not know it was a lockpick until I looked it up. Using the lockpick on this door got me into the workshop area and finally let me pick up the golden spanner. A few more annoying attempts later, because the neighbor decided to camp in the back garden, I used it on the lock to get to the ladder, climbed up and dropped down through the roof to grab the key. This room doesn't really make sense though, because how did the neighbor prop up this chair behind the door? Did he jump out as regenerating windows? After watching the neighbor walk off into the sunset, I seized my chance to run to the basement. Oh joy! We opened the washing machine, yes you heard that right, and entered this room thingy. Turns out this is a fake room and there's lights behind the windows. I break open the windows and hop into what looks like an underground maze. I wonder how this is going to go. We work our way through some doors and spot the neighbor chilling down here, which doesn't really make a lot of sense.
When did the neighbor get down here? And also, why is he down here? Is there any reason? I do not know. And I don't care.
Disregarding reasoning even further, I ran straight into a brick wall and shattered it with my sheer skill and willpower. Oh my god! The goal of the section is to turn off the power down here, run to the electrified fence and open it while the power's off, switch on the generator here and bust out of this joint. This section sucks. The neighbor with all of his advanced AI just camped the one place I needed to be. He would just set up cameras right by the only door that I could find to the fuse box so you could see where I was and never even bothered to leave it. I tried to get him to chase me somewhere on the map, but he would always miraculously appear back to the bloody fuse box.
I restarted the level. Am I ashamed of it? No. The game has failed to actually grip me in any way, shape or form. It feels more like a chore to play than an actual fully fledged game. And before you ask me, then why are you still playing it? It's because it pays the flipping bills.
Finally, we complete this stupid segment. We enter a chase scene with a neighbor only to find that, oh no, we need 3 more keys before getting captured. And thus, we move on to Act 2. Act 2 starts us off in the basement. From what I can gather, the neighbor's locked us up in his basement. No idea why. And our next goal is to escape the neighbor's clutches. I don't know, that shouldn't be too hard, and oh my god, he has been busy.
So, our character must have been in a coma for 5 years, because how the hell did the neighbor renovate his house, add massive fences, the whole shebang, while our character was asleep? I love my games making sense. I do.
Whatever. This game is yet to excite me, so maybe this act could be a change.
I hate Act 2.
Here we go. After escaping the basement, I decided to wander around for a little bit to grasp my bearings, but the game thought I was having way too much fun, and borderline immediately had the neighbor chasing me. Twice. Although this did introduce me to the act's cool new gimmick, the day and night cycle. Does it do anything?
I don't know. And I don't care.
Alright, my ability to care about this game is fading away faster than booze at a stag do, so let's wrap this up quick. I found this trampoline locked by the cage. Why is the trampoline locked by the cage? I don't know, and I do not care. AI still sucks, by the way. I walked right in front of a camera, hid in the closet in full view of the camera, and the neighbor didn't even care. Adaptive AI my ass. Also, good luck trying to escape the neighbor in this act. He definitely feels a lot faster in this act, which makes sense. The neighbor gets harder as the game goes on, harder to fight that is. While making him more challenging might have made him more interesting in theory, it just doesn't work in this act. There were countless times where I'd just spawn in and instantly have him chasing me. I could try and bait him by climbing a ladder or hiding in the house, but most of the time he'd be so locked onto me that I might as well restart. And what are the consequences of being caught by the neighbor? Nothing! Except for his doors and windows regenerating. So why should I be even scared in the first place? Also, this neighbor is blind as all hell. Sometimes he'll see me from a mile away, other times he'll walk right past me when I'm practically standing next to him. Enough of the neighbor's AI being more useless than a broken kettle in a British house. How did I escape the neighbor's house?
Painfully.
I was getting tired of this game, and fast. I thought to myself, heck it, and tried to set up a box tower to climb through the mini gap on top of the fence, since I couldn't really see any way of solving the puzzle. I spent way too much time trying to build the box tower and proceeded to give up. The physics engine of this game is like playing the lottery, but it's run by Loki. It's a game of chance to see if the engine will cooperate you, or it'll be quirky and bug out on you. I need more boxes. What?! After that colossal waste of time, I looked around the house to find out this time we barely have anywhere we can go. From the start, you have only access to his front room, living room, and the kitchen. Scrambling to look for items in these limited spaces, I found a wrench in the freezer, because who says I can't put a wrench in the freezer? What, are you insane? Oh goody, a bloody lore segment, my favourite. Oh, is this lore?
Yeah, got some epic map pat lore.
Welcome to game.
I unlocked the ladder at the back of the house, climbed up into a room with a shark in it. Why does the neighbour have a room with a shark in it? I don't know, and I don't care. The next goal was to drain the room of water. I tried to figure out the water puzzle, which took me ages to do, even with the Google search. And now, with this valve procured, I could drain the water out of the room.
Yay.
But how do I drain the water out of the room? Oh, it's very simple. All I have to do is put a box here, parkour onto these thin planks, and put the valve here.
I have no idea if this was intentional. This was on the tutorial I watched, but if it was intentional... Huh?
After picking up the shovel, which was in the water room, digging up a coffin to get the key to the doll's house, I could finally unlock the extra rooms in the house. How? I don't know. Do you want to see me go even more insane? There is this doll of some builder man with a crowbar, perfect for breaking out of the fence, but it's too small. How am I supposed to get it to the right size? Simple. Just take this doll all the way back up to the doll's house, put it in the bathroom of the doll's house, and now it's the right size. How does that make sense? When was this explained? I get that this is a cartoony game, but come on! How was I supposed to figure this out on my own?
I give up. I actually give up with this game. Nothing in this game makes sense at all. The game is absolute garbage. None of the mechanics in this game are even remotely fun to use. Oh, and the story is barely there and not even engaging enough for me to care at all. It's not fun.
After escaping and witnessing one of the worst camera angles I've ever had the displeasure of seeing, I completed Act 2 once and for all. And I'm done. I cannot stomach any more of this game, nor do I understand how it's still seemingly popular. But I'm willing to give this game one final shot. Let's see how Act 3 holds up. What the Please. Please. Oh my god. Ah! Was that the Wilhelm scream? Huh? Oh my god, this game sucks.